what I've got for you are tips and tricks to help your meditation, because that's what this is all about. The 30-day meditation challenge in the group since day one has been about helping you, has been about helping to share the benefits of meditation and sharing the various ways, techniques, methods of how to successfully meditate, what it takes to meditate, etc., etc. So when we're meditating to music, one of the things I like to recommend, if you don't already have, are some noise-canceling headphones. You put on the noise-canceling headphones and you just look super cool. What's up, man? What's going on? Yeah, awesome. Got the headphones. So what these do is they bring the music right to your ear, ooh, which helps you focus on it. So it's like right here. I'm using a Bluetooth speaker because it brings out a little more fidelity, a little more bass. I like some bass in my music. So I've got the Bluetooth speaker. You know, you can also use the traditional headphones. You know, the ones that come with your iPhone. Whether they're wireless earbuds or wired earbuds, it doesn't matter. It'll help you be closer to the music. So put in those earphones if you wish. If you don't, you can just listen through your speaker. The idea behind the audio is that we are focusing on a continuous stream of sound. And when we focus on a continuous stream of sound, we are removing our attention, which is normally scattered amongst the fragmented thought forms, images, etc. of the mind, the quagmire that is the mind. And we bring it to the music. And by bringing our attention to the music and attempting to just listen without thinking, without chattering, without talking to ourselves, we begin to enter into stillness. That's really the goal. You know, I'm a teacher of stillness. I've been meditating for over 30 years. And one of the methods I normally teach is called the 5 Steps to Stillness. Now, you may or may not have heard of it. I know it's extremely popular, but I broke it down to the essence. I've broken it down to the essence of meditation. And for me, it's 2 simple things: silence and stillness, or stillness and silence, whichever comes first. Because what's really going on here? Well, the idea is very simple, my friends. And number one, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Welcome to day 7 of the 30-day journey into sound. So the idea is very simple. The idea is that perfection, enlightenment, bliss, God, whatever you want to call it, Brahma, the universe, perfect stillness, higher consciousness. The idea is that this already exists. It's already here. So why aren't we experiencing it right now? Well, it's very simple. It's not easy, but it's very simple. The concept is that our mind is so active that it's gotten in the way. Our mind is so active because it has a tendency to be active. And this is due to the conditioning that we've received since day 1. Think of yourself like water. When water is completely still and completely clear, light shines right through. So you could call higher consciousness, enlightenment, God realization, whatever you want to call it. You could say it's higher light. So if my mind is completely still and completely clear and completely silent, no activity, no ripples in the water, then theoretically, the idea is the light should come streaming through and fill up the room with golden light. Now, this may sound like a lot of fantasy, but it's true. Now, obviously, this is a rare thing. But certainly, it's real. I've experienced it. I've sat with meditation masters, and I've seen it. So the idea is very simple, but the approach is very difficult. I'll be perfectly honest with you, my friend. Why is it difficult? Well, because we are all very sensitive human beings. Whether you want to believe that you're a tough guy or a tough gal or whatever, that's true. You are tough, you are strong, and you are infinite light and bliss. But we're very sensitive in that we pick up, we feel the impressions, we feel the vibrations, we feel the imprint, we feel the projections of others, we feel our environment, the vibrations of our environment, the frequencies around us. And this causes activity in the mind. You know, most of the thoughts in your mind are not your own. Did you know that? Which is why meditation is so important. And the initial discovery in meditation is, it's very important to discover who you are, what you really want. Why are you interested in meditation? Because a lot of times we are just recycling the thoughts of others, whether it's the thoughts of our families, parents, religions, society, culture. All these thoughts and ideas and ways of thinking and ways of viewing the world, chances are, many of them have been handed down over the generations and just given to you. And we kind of go through life blindly accepting everything that comes our way. Or not. Once we become a little bit more mature, we begin to question this narrative. Is this really the way life is? Are these my only choices? Are these the only possibilities at my fingertips? Is this the menu that I'm going to get for life? You know, we were born, maybe we have a good childhood, maybe we don't. Maybe we're born into wealth, maybe we're not. We go through some type of school, which most of us have discovered is, you know, just another indoctrination. And we're told, well, you got to go get a job, you got to go get your own place, you got to go get married, you got to have kids. You know, it's the basic line here on good old Earth. Fall in line and don't buck the system. Well, that may be fine for some, and that's perfectly fine. But for others, perhaps you, here watching this video, you've not been satisfied with those options. You've looked around and said, gosh, I see that what I've been, you know, shown here is sort of mundane, it's sort of the surface, it's sort of not necessarily satisfactory. Just this incessant indulging in the senses and, you know, going to McDonald's and going to the shopping mall and, you know, graduating from the university, Phi Beta Kappa and getting my PhD and, you know, all that is great. And I commend anyone for their successes in life. Whether we're interested in that thing or not, someone who puts in a lot of work and someone who achieves something, to me, deserves a pat on the back, deserves a recommendation, because, you know, it's not good to be lazy and just not do anything. But what's the whole purpose? Why are we even here? Why did we even incarnate? That's the real question. And I'm still trying to figure it out. It must be for some reason. So what's your reason? I can see they're thinking now. What is my reason for incarnating? Well, the ancients, the traditional way of describing incarnation. If you believe in reincarnation, I can tell you, I do. I think it's true. Many of you have experienced this. Many of you have sensed that you've lived before. Perhaps it's the reason why you're attracted to meditation. Perhaps it's the reason why you're attracted to self-discovery, to discovering the truth through something like meditation, because you've heard it all before. Everyone's got their story. You know, the religions got their story, history, science, they all have their story about life and creation and the way it is. And perhaps that satisfied you for a little while, and perhaps you've realized that there's got to be more. There's got to be more. And so we seek something that will show us that more. We seek something that will bring us some semblance of truth, whether it be fleeting or whether it be ultimate realization. So I know I can get off track here and go on various tangents. Getting back to the point here is that the point is that the basic principles of meditation will posit that truth exists, reality exists, the highest consciousness exists right here, right now. But the reason why we see life the way it is, the reason why we experience life the way it is simply due to the fact that our mind is modifying our experience. Doesn't that start to ring true now? The mind is modifying my experience constantly because it's conditioned to do that. It's a filter. It's an Instagram filter. The mind is constantly seeing through thought. It's constantly perceiving life through projection, through an idea. When I look at a tree, do I see a tree or do I see my idea of a tree? Now, only when we begin to truly gaze, which is one of the practices and arts that I teach, is open-eyed gazing. When we gaze, we look at something without thought. We see it as it truly is, and we begin to see its multi-dimensional qualities, because life is a multi-dimensional creation. We ourselves are part of that creation. We're not separate from nature. What is nature? Well, the nature of the mind is pure, like the pure, still water. The nature of the mind is silence, like the blank canvas of an artist. It's empty. Well, that's not my experience, Rob. I go through life and, my mind is constantly chattering and I just can't seem to shut it off. I hear you, my friend, and I'm glad you're here, because that's exactly what meditation should help you with. Overcoming that mental chatter. Little by little, what we learn to do is that first, we learn we have an attention that we can move. Prior to meditation, you might have thought, I'm just going to have to live with this condition of the mind. Well, we know that this condition of the mind has been brought forth by all the experiences, by all the programming, by all the familiar friend and familial interaction, the learning of a language, the learning of definitions, the learning of labeling, judging, seeing the world a certain way has been taught to us. So in meditation practice, we seek to overcome all seeing, all ways of seeing, to become completely empty, to become completely blank. Because only when we can be completely empty, only when that canvas can become completely clear and completely clean, is when we can see life as it truly is. Little by little, we begin to see things that we didn't see before. We begin to feel things that we didn't feel before. Ooh. And it's a fun journey. It's a fun experience. So the idea is that perfection, light, God, whatever you want to call it, samadhi, the perfect perception, higher consciousness, that this exists right here, right now. But because we are viewing life predominantly through the senses, through the sense organs, the eyes, the ears, touch, taste, smell, all that good stuff, that we're very limited in the way that we perceive the world. We perceive the world as solid, as a solidity, because I'm using my apparently solid hand to go through this apparently solid table, and it just won't get through. I know I'm being over dramatic, but you get the idea. Because we've all been told that everything is energy, right? Everything is just light. And it's true. But why do we perceive it as solid, as liquid, as gas, as plasma, or perhaps beyond? Back to the conditioning again. So you guys starting to get the idea? We want to overcome this conditioning to become, or to realize, the truth, our true nature, our limitless nature of consciousness. Who and what we really are. And it's not necessarily a who or a whom. There's not necessarily a name or names. Because that would be a label. That would be a description. We want to go beyond all descriptions. We want to go beyond all labels. We want to move beyond all judgment. So how do we do this? Well, we gotta just stop that chatter. It's the chatter. It's the chatter that keeps going on, that keeps telling us what's what, who we are, what we did, and all that bullshit that takes us out of the moment, that takes us into analysis, into critique, you know? And we are so super critical of everything, even ourselves mostly. So, what we are about to do is a phenomenal feat. We're about to move our attention away from all of that activity and into a steady stream of awareness. So, the first thing we realize is that, wow, I can move my attention to something and I can hold it there. Or I can attempt to hold it there, because guess what'll happen? And you all know, you've experienced this. Your attention will wander. It will wander back to its habitual way. It will wander back to the way that it normally interacts with the world. You know? We're just used to thinking. That's all it is. It's just a habit. We're used to the mental chatter. That's it. It's a tendency. It's a tendency of mind. So we have to break the tendency. The only way to break a habit is by inserting a new habit. And so this is why the daily practice of meditation is extremely important, because your habits and your tendencies are very strong. And perhaps they're even stronger than you may know. Because as we begin to meditate and as we get to the core of our being, as we realize more and more in the depths of who and what we really are, we see that we have some tendencies that we didn't even realize we had. So we begin to understand who we are by understanding our tendencies. Why do I react this way to this person? Why do I react this way to this idea? You know? Is it something that was taught to me as a young child? Is it something that I learned from being around people? Is it something that was ingrained and indoctrinated into my head? You know, through many, many years of what have you, education, indoctrination, brainwashing. So, we realize that there are some deep parts of ourselves we didn't even know about. And this can get into the multi-life karmas, the past life tendencies that we bring into this life. Now, when we come into this world and we're reborn, we're born anew, yes. The beautiful new baby. You look in the eyes, all you see is light, all you see is love. Well, for some. We're all born in this world with different karmas, with different tendencies from past lives. And chances are that if you're interested in meditation, you've meditated before. You usually pick up where you left off in your self-discovery journey. from past lives. You usually pick up where you left off in this life. Why that is? Well, because you're born, what you bring with you, what you bring into the incarnation when you're born, is your level of awareness from your previous incarnations. It's not necessarily important to know who you were or what you did or who you were with in your past lives. What's important is to bring back the total awareness, the level that you reached in your previous incarnations. Perhaps you were a very powerful meditator in your past lives. So when you're born into this life, you will be, for some reason, inclined. You will be attracted to meditation and self-discovery and various forms similar to meditation, spirituality. Perhaps you'll be able to see through the illusion better than perhaps your peers. Perhaps you've always felt that there's something a little bit different about you than others. Maybe you've just been at a higher level of consciousness, even from a young age. So this is a good indicator that you're in the right place and you've meditated before. And here we go. So today's meditation, and for this 30-day meditation challenge, I am sharing with you how to meditate to music. Now, I don't always meditate to music. In fact, normally I meditate to silence. But meditation to music is a great way to help people who are new to meditation, beginners, intermediates, and even advanced meditators, because I believe it's good to have a few different meditation techniques in your arsenal to use at your leisure, to use when appropriate. So for some times, perfect silent meditation, perfect stillness meditation, no technique, just being perfectly still is appropriate. For sometimes a way of concentrating on the breath or focusing on a chakra and feeling the energy around a heart chakra, for example, or in this case, focusing on the music, bringing your attention to the music. Perhaps there's various reasons why certain meditation techniques could be appropriate. It could be the way you feel, it could be your mood, it could be, one of the great things about music meditation, especially if you're using like noise canceling headphones, is that you can cancel out environmental noise, which can be distracting. And if you live in an apartment, if you have young kids, if you they're doing construction next door on the roof, or whatever it might be, it's good to have some various techniques in your arsenal. Now, I'm not one of these people who believe that you should have an infinite amount of meditation techniques at your disposal. I don't think it's a good idea to switch techniques like every single day, because you'll be what's the old saying? Jack of all trades, a master at none. So I think it's good to have maybe 2 or 3 solid core meditation techniques that you rotate. And for example, you might have one that you prefer to do in the morning. For example, in the morning, we want to set ourselves up for the day, do that morning meditation. This is my morning. Even though it's almost 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I better get to meditation. I'm a late night, go to bed late, wake up late kind of person. So in the morning, in my morning meditation, I wake up, I get some food, I get some coffee, very important, and I take a shower, and then I sit down to meditate. Now, a good way to meditate in the morning would be perhaps to practice your concentration techniques. For example, I'm known for my 5 steps to stillness meditation technique on the chakras. And this is a single-pointed mind meditation where we focus on a single point and hold our mind there, hold our attention there. Believe it or not, the music meditation is also a single-pointed mind meditation. Really, all meditation techniques are. Even when you focus on your breath, you're focusing on a single thing. Now, what's the point of doing all this? The point of it is stillness. The point is that we want to still all the activity that's been getting in the way. All the waves in the oceans, all the waves in the water that's getting in the way, that's clouding the water, right? So, we proceed into stillness. So as you meditate, we want to settle down. We want to become more and more still. And if let's say you're meditating for 20 minutes, maybe you only get 2 minutes of stillness at the end. But it's worth it. It's worth sitting through that entire 20 minutes just to get that 2 minutes of stillness. Because it's that 2 minutes of stillness that will begin to insert a wedge in your mind. It will begin to train your mind. Because we are what we do. And if we're always thinking, and if we're always active in the mind, well, that's exactly what our experience in life will be. So meditation, when we sit down to meditate, it's a training. It's work. It's a workout. So when we sit down, we focus on something. In this case, we're going to be focusing on the music. And we want to hold our mind on the music. The goal is to become still. Holding still. I keep doing this because my music is right here. But your music might be here in your ears. You might hear it here. And you're just holding your attention on the music perfectly still. That's step one. Step two is that as we do that, and as we're able to, this is an often overlooked. They say, okay, just focus on your breath. When the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath, right? That's really only a partial instruction. That's about half of the instruction, the technique. So what we really want to do is, as we're settling in, is we want to hold our attention on the breath and not let it move, not let it wander. That's where we get strong. That's where we break out of the habit. That's when we break out of the tendency of the mind, is when we actually use some mental muscle, and it is a muscle. The ability to bring your attention and hold it somewhere with your willpower will strengthen your concentration. This is the important part. It's not just the redirection of attention, but it's the willful holding of your attention on said object. Be it the breath, be it the music, be it a chakra, be it, Brahma, whatever you're focusing on. You want to try to, initially, with your willpower, hold your attention. Now, this changes as you meditate. As you continually do this process and you're able to hold it for longer and longer, you won't require as much effort. You'll begin to become settled. You'll begin to become still. And as we become more settled and more still within the meditation, it becomes much easier to remain focused. It becomes much easier to hold our attention on that particular object of focus. And as this continues, less effort is required because we are becoming absorbed in that object of focus, in this case the music. We are merging with the music, the sound. Our awareness field is merging with the sound. And as this happens, you'll notice it and you'll be freaked out. And you'll want to jump back to familiarity, which is focusing on your body. Have you noticed? We focus on ourselves way too much. We have a tendency to constantly focus on the body. We have a tendency to constantly look through our eyes. Because guess what we're doing all the time? You guessed it. We're constantly looking through our eyes with our attention. So when we redirect our attention to something else, there will be the natural tendency for it to go back to its regular routine, its automatic way of being, which could be thinking. Some people are overthinkers. Some people are twitchers. Some people are in their eyes. Some people, everybody's got their thing. You know what I'm saying? So we want to get out of that thing and get into a new thing. All right, enough talk. I've been rambling on for long enough. When I do that, I still got to sit for another 20 minutes here, so Let's get to it, my friends. So we're meditating to music. Join us. If this is your first time, just sit, just listen, enjoy the music. That's the key. This should be a fun way to meditate. So, sit up straight, nice posture, whether you're sitting on the floor in your full lotus position, or you're sitting in a chair, back straight, good posture. I don't recommend laying down to meditate. You get too sleepy and you'll drift off. Meditation is about becoming aware, becoming awake, awakening. It's a process of awakening, my friends, to the truth, to the reality of who and what we really are. So let's do it. Here we go. Take a big deep breath. Now continue to breathe naturally throughout the entire meditation. It'll be about 20 minutes. It takes a couple songs, 5 or 10 minutes, just to settle down. And just bring your attention to the music. Just listen deeply to the music. When the mind wanders, return your attention to listening to the music. Every time you do this, you'll get better at it. Try to hold your attention on the music and then merge with the music until there's only beautiful music. Try not to just sit and space out. Listen to every detail of the music. Every millisecond, hold your attention on listening to the music. Feel the music communicating with you as if you're becoming absorbed in the story of the music. The music is like a movie. that you're watching with your ears. Oh, back to the body. Well, there you go, my friends. Another meditation session for the books. And yes, you can meditate with your eyes open, especially when listening to music. And I hope you had a good one today. And if you have any further questions on how to meditate to music or meditation in general, just drop a comment below and I'll be happy to answer. Have a great day. Namaste.